Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Dungeons and Dragons, not to praise it. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft inferred with their bones. So let it be with Dungeons and Dragons. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is I, the OGGM, looking at all the information that came out of day one of the digital virtual creator content comment convention that was held at some Ramada Inn somewhere in the state of Washington in the city of Seattle, where Wizards of the Coast invited several content creators from across the world, as long as they said good things about them, to join them and talk about the future plans for Wizards of the Coast. And so far, it has been pretty generally disappointing. And I am very surprised to see that many people stood up, including some that weren't expected to stand up. And more people, even the strongest of the shills, are going, how about... So we have already gone over what was said during the opening statements. We've already gone over the information or lack thereof regarding the future of D&D Beyond. We have already gone over some other stuff. And now we get to look at the meat and potatoes. The information regarding the upcoming infamous legendary Death Star that is the Dungeons & Dragons virtual tabletop. And what plans, if any, do they have for 2024 6th edition 1D&D? Well, they managed to give us very little. So I could go piece by piece by piece, but I decided instead let us just bask in the glory of the patron saint of merchandising that is Hello Kitty and thank her for being an island of calm and the turbulent seas that is this information coming from Wizards of the Coast at the conference. So apparently it appears the things broke down. They tried talking about the virtual tabletop, and there was a lot of digital virtual stuff that came out. Most of it was, how do you compare this to this? What if I can't do this? How does it do this? Will we be allowed to ever take a look at it? And one of the things that came after it that no, there's not going to be any open beta testing planned at this point in time. We're planning on taking it to every console we possibly could. It's not a video game. But we want you to play the virtual tabletop on your watch, on your cell phone, on your tablet, on your Xbox, on your computer, on your TV. We want everybody to be able to get onto our not a video game. Is it going to, so the first stuff was just information about the virtual tabletop and its communication with D&D Beyond, and it's kind of stuff we've already heard. Basically, it breaks down to, we do not know what the virtual tabletop will do because none of us here are technical computer people, and the virtual tabletop technically does not exist yet. So we cannot tell you what it may not do. People were like, well, you're showing it in Unreal Engine, you're showing us high-end stuff, you're using Alienware, is this what we can expect? And again, the answers were, we don't know. I'm not a computer person. I am a media person. I am a creative content consultant person. I'm Jeremy Crawford. I'm Kyle Banks. I'm not a computer person. If you needed a computer person, we would have had a computer person here. But didn't you just hire a ton of ex-Microsoft employees to be your computer people and translate that computer stuff to those of us who don't understand it? Yeah, but they're not here. Well, we have a lot of questions, and we've emailed you your questions, and we noticed we didn't get answers back to our questions about the VTT. And we were told we could record this, but now you're telling us we can't record this. So how are we going to get information? Oh, we'll email you with the information that you requested that we want you to have about the VTT because you can't record this. Oh, but you said you weren't recording this. So how can you give us information about the VTT if there is none? Oh, don't worry, we have a packet. And we will email you at some point in time. So Yeah, so wait, you were taking pictures of us? I'm not saying that. I can't answer your questions because I'm not a computer person. I'm a person. Oops, my boobies fell out. So basically, without getting technical, that is how it appears the VTT conference broke down. Wizards of the Coast representatives were asked increasingly complex questions about the D&D experience, about the virtual tabletop, about technical specifications, the kind of stuff you would want to know about something that is supposed to be taking over the digital aspect of Dungeons & Dragons, as because Wizards of the Coast continually repeated this throughout this convention in case there was anybody out there who didn't believe it, D&D is going digital. Everything's going to be digital. Now, they continue to contradict themselves. In one paragraph, they say, yeah, the physical books aren't going anywhere. In the very next paragraph, they say, no, we're not going to continue to support the physical books. If you have the stuff on D&D Beyond, you're going to have to buy the new stuff because it's not going to be backwards compatible. If you have a D&D Beyond Player's Handbook, when new D&D Beyond goes live with the brand new Player's Handbook, you're going to have to buy the brand new Player's Handbook because it is not backwards compatible. And then in the very 6 seconds, is 6e going to be backwards compatible? Absolutely. You won't need to buy any new things. If you've already bought Strahd, you can still run Strahd. So my digital copy of Strahd will automatically update to the new rules. No, it will not. It's not backwards compatible. You're going to have to buy the new DLC to convert your current copy of Strahd to the brand new rules. So my player's handbook that I already have on D&D Beyond will automatically update in 2024 when you enter the new information because it's backwards compatible. It is absolutely backwards compatible, but you're going to have to buy a brand new player's handbook because the information is so different that it is not backwards compatible. So if you've already spent $115 to get every single possible thing for your player's handbook collection, you're going to have to buy the brand new Player's Handbook and all the $115 of DLC that will be available on a monthly basis to be sure you are up to date with the ever-changing environment that is D&D Beyond / the virtual tabletop / not 6th edition in 2024. Then things became all about inclusiveness and diversity and ugly white men running Wizards of the Coast. So apparently our favorite people, Daniel Kwan and Connie Chang, were there. And it appears that as more and more of the actual, logical, sane people were becoming upset and getting up and leaving, this allowed the people like Connie Chang and Daniel Kwan to take control and start with their level of, attacking Wizards of the Coast and attacking the hobby and saying things like, well, what about the hiring? Right now, all the positions are held by white dudes. Are you going to do anything to change that? What about the cultural consultants? Are you going to give them more power as they continue to shield you from criticism? What are you going to start promoting and hiring marginalized people? Wizards of the Coast allowed these people to take control of the tail end of the conference and turn it from a technical conference about the plans into their little personal island of racism, attacking everybody that isn't them and making sure everybody, if you don't have the fun the way Connie Chang has fun, you're a horrible, awful person. And Wizards of the Coast representative who was there just fumbled the ball because they had somebody there who didn't know what they were talking about. I don't know who they rolled out for the virtual tabletop part. Kale Stutzman. So he's something to do with digital D&D virtual tabletop. And he was hit with all these questions about technical stuff that he couldn't answer. And then he was hit with a huge stuff about inclusivity, accessibility, changing employees. I guess Connie Chang wants a job at Wizards of the Coast. They're talking about how maps and stuff need to be inclusive and what the prices of these things are going to be. Then they took a short break. So we will move on to that in the second video because I want to keep these short. So in closing, that is how round 1 of the big final part of the conference ended. Actual serious people were basically told, I don't know, shut up. This is the information you're getting. People who put them to task saying, you told us X didn't happen. How are you going to compensate for that? Wizards of the Coast responded, oh, don't worry, you'll receive an information packet in the mail at some point in time. I can't answer those questions because I'm not that person. What about all our technical questions? Not the person to talk to. What about the questions about backwards compatibility? Because you're giving us two different answers. Will it or will it not? I'm not the person to talk about that. So it feels like then as these people became more and more frustrated and started to just go, well, F you, I'm leaving, it gave a chance for the virtue signalers to step up and go, I'm going to pounce on the weak baby tiger because here's my chance. You've separated the weak gazelle from the herd. So now inclusion, racism, sexism, problematic content, rehiring. Can I get a job at, what are you going to do so me, Connie Chang, can have a job at Wizards of the Coast? What are you going to do so you can continue this reverse racism that we want Wizards of the Coast to champion? And then they took a break. Brilliantly, somebody there had enough of a high school education to go, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, show the video, shut up, show the video. And that's where we'll end things here because there's a lot more to digest, and I have a feeling I'm going to be talking about this for a long time because, ladies and gentlemen, it's not pretty. And as things continue to fall apart, it appears it got way uglier. And the final conclusion seems to be that Wizards of the Coast was not prepared to hold this conference. And it is very hard for me to remain unbiased, especially since I'm in a really bad mood today. It is very hard for me to remain objective. It is very hard for me to continue to say things like, well, Wizards of the Coast choices make sense in some reality. I am trying my best to give you the information filtered through my understanding and, of course, my multiple layers of sarcasm. But all kidding aside, guys, this is just bad. I worked in the studio industry for 16 years. I am still connected in some ways to the studio industry. I know people in multiple positions in the music business, in the studio business, in the television business, in advertising, in marketing. My brother runs a huge nonprofit organization, and I can just look at my years of attending conferences and reading and things and going to scripts things and being in the studios and talking to studio people. And I can look at this and just go, dear Hello Kitty, patron saint of merchandising. Literally, if there is a checklist, everything you could possibly do wrong at a creative content consultant conference where you were telling people about your product, you have checked every box, Wizards of the Coast, including allowing the thing to break down to the attacks about the inclusivity. But we've got more to go over, so that's it for now. If you appreciate how hard it is for me to do this and how much work I'm putting into this, maybe subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And maybe consider supporting me. Because now more than ever, I need your financial support because I am no longer probably going to be working with Big Geek Emporium. That is a topic for a different video. Have a great day. I will be back with more depressing information in a few moments. Till then, let us just enjoy Hello Kitty. See ya!